was reportedly over 600 victims. So today we're going to be talking about the case of Elizabeth Bathory. She is known to be one of the most infamous female murderers of all time, and her body count is anywhere from 80 to 650. We're not entirely for sure, but let's go ahead and set the scene. It is a cold December evening in 1610 in Hungary, and a man by the name of Thurzo is on his way to the castle. He made his way with his men through treacherous winter landscape and a very secretive mission. There had been many rumors swirling around this one particular village who had a oddly high number of missing girls between the ages of 10 to 14. The rumors were chilling and the town was scared. While some of these young girls had completely vanished, never to be seen or heard from again, some of them were later found not alive. But the biggest rumor that was swirling around this town was that there was one common denominator, Elizabeth Bathory. But Thurzo, who was very close with Elizabeth at the time, kept thinking, no, there's no way that my friend is involved. She's a noble woman and well known for her beauty. But the king had demanded him to come anyways and perform an investigation at the castle. So he knocked on the door, and Elizabeth left the gates open, surprised to see her friend. Thurzo was trying to do his best to remain calm in the moment because Elizabeth answered the door very cold and callous. He looked at his friend Elizabeth and said that the king was taking the accusations against her very seriously. Where are the girls, Countess? Thurzo asked. The girls who came to this castle and who never left. Thurzo's men began to search the castle, and it was during this moment where Thurzo heard a distant cry. He walked down the corridor that he was hearing it from. The voice sounded muffled, in pain, and desperate, which led him to a heavy wooden door that was barred from the outside. Thurzo demanded that the door must be open, and whenever the door was opened, the scene was much worse than he could even imagine. So let's backtrack a little bit. Who is Elizabeth Bathory? Elizabeth was born on August 7th of 1560 into one of the most noble families in Hungary. The Bathorys were like the Rockefellers of the 1500s. Like, everybody knew the name. They produced a lot of noble people, kings, cardinals, warriors, you name it. And both of her parents were cousins. It was kind of a thing during that time to like keep it in the family. This was to preserve the royal bloodline, but like obviously we know now that this causes a lot of health issues, and Elizabeth was no exception to this. From a very young age, she suffered from severe and frequent seizures. Some people thinking today that she probably had epilepsy, and a treatment for this that Elizabeth had to do at the time was actually take blood from someone who was non-epileptic and put it on the lips from someone who did suffer from seizures. I would like to add in this little tidbit. She was also the niece of Stephen Bathory, who was like the Prince of Transylvania, which fuels the vampire rumors that happened later on. And it's thought that this, in addition to being exposed to a lot of violence and cruelty, maybe influenced her later behavior. Her family was kind of known for committing acts of brutality towards servants and also people who just did petty crimes. Apparently, she witnessed a man whose crime was just stealing being sewn into the body of a horse, and she is reported to have laughed at this. Well, at the age of 13, Miss Bathory ended up getting pregnant with a peasant boy.